Welcome to the Red and Tera Show, everybody. Episode motherfucker 10 year
10.
in the double digits.
Yeah. I'll have to break. I should have broke out the fucking drink today. Bollocks.
We gonna need more fingers.
Yeah. Well, we
still
made
got the whiskey out there now.
What?
We still got the whiskey out.
I should have. It's fucking a bit late now.
I've literally had one every podcast.
Yeah.
every
No wonder
podcast.
people are saying you're a bit tipsy now. You want to say, yeah?
Listen, it's a Monday night. I'm up half off of work. Why wouldn't I have a whiskey?
Life is good. Right, before we go any further, I want to make a little bit of a disclaimer. Made a bollocks or something, so I'm going to come clean. The new t-shirts, right, as you can see there. Epstein didn't kill himself. So
Hey, maybe he did. Just nobody knows who the fuck he is. Like, his body's probably still there.
well, it's probably
sad.
it's factually true. I'm sure there's an Epstein out there who didn't kill himself.
That's a bit sad though when you think about it. Somewhere there's a corpse, ironically lying dead.
And I'm sure it's part of the Clinton body count. It's quite fucking possible. But so anyway, apologies, folks. I blame Jeeves 100%. He's dyslexic, and so blame myself actually because I didn't double check it. So it's fixed on the site, but we've a couple of t-shirts that I got as samplers that are bollocks. So anyone out there who wants a free t-shirt, hit me up. There's one going, or there's two going. I think of two there. So
Hashtag search for Epstein's body.
Epstein. If anybody wants it, kill Epstein. But so if anybody wants to jump on, I'll put it in the fucking description afterwards. We've a couple of new t-shirts I've been working on, getting some of the older shit back up. We'll have loads more coming, but for now, I just stuck up a few to see what they were like. So there's a few bits and bobs in there if you want to go in and get yourself some paraphernalia. So anyway, episode 10, Red, what's happening?
Oh, fucko. What's the COVID lately, terrorist? What's going on? I've been living in a bit of a bubble because I had people over the weekend, didn't look at anything. No, actually, Joe, before we go into that, what I did look at was, had the two brothers over with their missuses and we were watching. We were just sitting around, having a chat over that. And in the background, that is it Britain's Got Talent or is it X Factor? On that was on Saturday.
Zero fucking clue. And that's being 100% honest with you. It's probably Britain's Got Talent.
Right, let's go with that. That was on in the background. So
sure.
As I turned around, because it was muted and all, we weren't watching it, but we were just going to sit here kind of face the telly. And I turned around and I kind of got a bit of a wobble, and I was like, I seen where they have the judges now. It's all out of screens and all behind it,
Yeah.
And I was like, that's that, and the Black Mirror thing just kind of popped into my head. It was just like, man, that's fucking weird. It's mad. Do you reckon they're doing it ironically, or is it you know what I mean? It's a bit weird, man. Because it genuinely did look at my holy shit. It's fucking.
Well, here, look for folks
out in their Zooms all clapping, which is Black Mirror in the room. They're all sitting in the avatars. It's a bit weird.
If you haven't seen the episode of Black Mirror, do you know what the name of it is now? Can't remember which episode.
No, so I've only seen 4 of them, and that was one of them. I've never seen that.
The one with where they're doing the fucking the talent show or whatever, isn't it?
Yeah.
Ironically. Yeah, I'll show the picture for folks who just fucking maybe want to get their heads around it. So this is the Britain's Got Talent or whatever, yeah. So you have all the people at home tuning in because you're not allowed any audience for the COVID or whatever, yeah. So you have all these avatars of people from their Zooms or whatever, and let me just see if I can share the other picture. So the other picture was this one. So that's from Black Mirror. So it's mad, isn't it? These are all little people who are in their own little boxes or whatever, isn't it? Their own little their avatar room to be zoomed in, to be part of the crowd and the fake crowd noise and all that.
Yeah, because the Britain's Got Talent thing, because we put it on, I was like, hold on, I can whack that up. And because I didn't know if it was I thought they were kind of doing it on purpose sort of thing, and it caught me
It's very similar, isn't it? It's but it's very similar,
Because I even said to my brother, I was like, here, look at this. I even rewound it and all. And I was like, oh, look at this. And then I put it on. And then, like, it's all kind of fake crowd noises as well, which obviously in the Avatar, in the fucking Black Mirror, you kind of have to use fake kind of noises and back because the people obviously aren't there. Like, it's just a bit weird. I'm not a conspiracy theorist, but that was weird.
Thanks for bringing that to our attention, Red.
Yeah, no, they just pop that up actually because
folks. Black Mirror.
Did anybody else watch that though, or was it just like, you know, am I just tripping balls?
Man,
like,
so
I was drinking whiskey and I probably had a joint or two as well, so maybe.
But there is a few episodes of that where you're like, oh Jesus, that's China right now. That's like the passport thing they're trying to bring in. You know what I mean? Like, there's loads of them episodes that are science fiction that are very close to science fact at the moment. So yeah.
Well, I've only seen 4 of them, and sporadically, like, and I think I watched the very first one with the Prime Minister. That was a good one. That was, I'd say. That I actually watched that first, and that kind of got me on. But when I found out that it's not like, you know, linked or whatever, that like, then when somebody else says, "Oh, check out this one, check out this one, check out this," and so I checked out about 4 of them, but it was like between.
Well, one of the first ones I watched. Well, I watched the old ones ages ago, but one of the first new ones I watched, it was like a little girl goes missing, and the man gets a chip put into her, and has like a tablet, and she can see through her eyes, and she can block out like sensor stuff. So if anything scares her or anything like that, she can censor it. So when the kid's walking around and like a dog's barking in the fucking...
I think I've seen that one. It's
like mad. And as she gets older, then the mother won't let it, like the even...
Spoiler alert.
Yeah, well, as she gets older, the tech becomes... It never really took off. So she's only one of a few kids that have it or whatever. And basically they're saying, look, we can't take the chip out. What we suggest you do is get rid of the tablet and just let her live her life, and the mother just can't. And it's weird, but like you can definitely see stuff like that coming along as well. You know what I mean? But so
because we're all, I had to say we're all guilty of that, because like I don't really let my son out outside like without
yeah. But as he gets older, you're going to, you know what I mean?
No.
Me bollocks. How do you think I feel with a young one, man? It's like fucking anyone looks at her.
Yeah, I know. Ha!
Yeah.
I won that one. I won that round.
At least she won't grow up to batter me, so.
Yeah, I know. Boys will be like. Yeah, fairness though, he's up to me hip already and he's 4. So.
Chap is a bleeding gargantuan already. He is.
Yeah.
Me.
So yeah.
Yeah. So.
Let's go on to this COVID lately. What's the
well, I tell you. Because you're seeing all the weird shit coming out, right? So if you want to go for a meal, the restaurant has to keep on record everything that you or your party ate for 28 days. Now, I've heard a few people saying, I was talking to someone who owns a restaurant or owns a bar or whatever, and they're kind of saying it's for when the guard will come in and they see you sitting there with a pint in front of you, but no evidence of you haven't had something to eat, that they're able to go to the barman or go to whoever, the waitress or the waiter or whatever, and they'll be able to bring up, oh yeah, they had chicken wings and blah, blah, blah. Now that to me sounds like bollocks. Absolutely.
But the garden might do that whole thing. It's like a bouncer at a blade and take your ID and go hit you with a sly one, like, what's your date of, middle name? And you're sitting there going,
so did you have your steak medium or rare?
That's what I mean.
You didn't have the steak, you had the fish.
Hey, John, what did you order? Chicken wings. Says here you had lasagna, you low embarrassed. You get out, you're bad, mom. You know what I mean? Yeah,
it's just so shit. I seen your man questioning your man Donnelly on it. And your man Donnelly was like, oh, no, like a receipt, a till receipt will be sufficient. He's like, well, that's not what your legislation says. If that's sufficient, then it should be in your legislation. Your legislation clearly says something else. Do you not know what your own legislation is? Like, why are you looking for this? You know what I mean? So it's unclear why they're looking for it. Now, that was one kind of opinion on what was for or whatever, but is it to trace food, to trace where food's coming from? What, like, are they trying to say that foods now carry it? And that's
no. Do you know what it is though? It's the same reason that like they're bringing it in, because there's some pubs that aren't obeying the guidelines. because it goes back to that whole, now the governments are now making legislation for the minorities. And it's a bit weird.
Yeah.
It's like, because they're even saying, oh, so a lot of them are doing fantastic, but some of them aren't serving food.
So now we have to kick your door down and fucking, yeah.
Well, yeah, but it's like, and that's a breach of the guidelines. But what if it turns out your guidelines are bollocks and it's all not, you were wrong about everything? What then? Do you have right? They're actually correct to, and everyone else that obeyed it, should they just fucking, but like, what then? Like, these guys are getting fucking, punished or whatever that, like, but they're just saying, like, and all this legislation that they're bringing out, and there's new powers to the guard and all, because a couple of pubs aren't following guidelines.
Well, not even
guidelines
that
change all the time. Like, it's
there's a few people having house parties, so now we have to be able to kick down anyone's door under the Medical Act and fucking investigate if it's more than 16 people from 400 different households or whatever the fuck it is at the moment. But there was like what you were saying about the minority, pandering for the minority who don't, or punishing, I should say. I was reading the yoke about a school, so someone put it up about the principal in the school, and he was writing to the parents, and it was kind of like, now we're having a serious problem in the yards with kids not social distancing from each other, and when they get outside the school, it's even worse. Like, they just carry on like none of it even mattered. So what's going to happen is the worst classes, rather than being able to spend time in the yard, they will be punished by being forced to stay in their rooms during yard periods or lunch periods, wearing their masks because they won't social distance. And then the classes that do the best at social distancing will be rewarded with an extra 20 minutes of yard time to breathe fresh air. And it's kind of like, so you're saying it's a punishment to be in the classroom wearing a mask. So therefore, the whole time kids are in a classroom wearing a mask, they're being punished. Is that what that's what the guy was saying? You know what I mean? Essentially.
Well, again, and again, but the whole thing behind it is they're not following the guidelines. They're stepping out of line. How dare you? Let's crack down on not following. I was like, fuck your guidelines.
And come here,
I'm not obligated to follow your guidelines. I think your guidelines are stupid.
You see what the new guideline is in the schools, right? A teacher is allowed to have a break where they can take their mask off to breathe fresh air, but the students aren't. So the teacher can pull the mask down if she feels or he feels that, they need a break and need to breathe.
That's because the students haven't got a union.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
The thing that's kind of annoying is, like, so rather than having the kids all in the one room and the teachers moving, which would stop like hundreds of kids roaming around corridors at the same time and all that bollocks, moving from class to class, keep them in the one place and just have a teacher moving around from class to class. You know what I mean? They're sending all the students in, and like, of course they're in corridors not obeying stupid fucking social distancing. Kids hang around with each other outside school and there's no problems. You know what I mean?
It's gone bonkers, and that's what it is, and it's all quite, it's very totalitarian the way. And again, not conspiracy theorist, but there's something up, and I don't know what it is, but that's where I'm getting from it. It's like they're going after these, like, oh, we must keep the rules or bring out more rules because some people aren't obeying the guidelines. So therefore, it's not us who are actually making all these legislations and all these stupid guidelines. It's not us to be mad at. Oh no, look at all these people over here who are saying they're not going to follow the guidelines, and you're going, yeah, because they're stupid. And these people are going, yeah, look, we know they're stupid, but follow them because we get punished. So then go
like
mad at them.
That fucking anti-lockdown march. That anti-lockdown march 2 weeks ago, or it was more than 2 weeks ago now. Like, all of yous now, yous are going to be the cunts that caused it and send us back, and after all this good, and it's like 2 weeks later, it's like, where's the outbreak? Where's everyone dying? Where's everyone on the hospital beds? Like, we've literally, I think we've had 3 deaths in August. Some of them could probably be traced back to fucking March, April, or May, or whatever, when they do that backdating on fucking, but like three deaths from COVID-19 in August, but like 30 odd suicide deaths, 700 bleeding cancer deaths, 20 or 30 bleeding road traffic deaths. Like, none of them get mentioned, but 3 deaths, like not even the 3 deaths, the cases, all the cases, we're on a tipping point, we're about to lock down the country again. It's like, is anyone sick? Is anyone in the hospital? Like, very few people are. Like, back in March and April, I think it was working out like for every 100 cases there was one hospitalization, and now you're looking at like there's several thousand cases and like 5 or 6 in hospital. So either it's burning out, or the people who are getting sick now are able to deal with it, and the people who are getting sick then was the people being murdered in nursing homes and shit like that. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Yeah, no, it is. It's there's something afoot about it, because it just doesn't. And that's the thing about it, like, it just doesn't sit right with me. None of it does. The guidelines are stupid. None of them make sense. The only way I can see is the only logical when I look at it is like, because there's definitely agenda behind it, because none of it is based off science. I think everyone agrees with that. It's not based off the medical. I think everyone agrees with that. So
except for your man Luke O'Neill, isn't it? They parade him out as the fucking authoritarian, the guy who's like literally walks.
No, but he's just the guy. He's just the guy that's reading the speech on the stage to the people and addressing
this
the
guy is literally funded by a fucking pharmaceutical company. He gets told.
But
even
all
right, but this guy comes out and he's the one saying that, like, oh, well, you have to be very careful with kids. You know, if they start getting it, like, there's no evidence to show kids are getting it and getting
which
sick.
is why I was saying it's not based off medical.
Yeah, I know.
Do you know what I mean?
Medical people they have traipsed out are people who are, for me, you
exactly.
Look at their history, they're on the payroll of someone who gains from a vaccine and gains from lockdowns, and you know what I mean? So
yeah, but even relevant to all that. So no, but it's not like none of the stuff they can offer up is medical. It's just all just new guidelines to kind of keep the elderly safe, and it's all that shit. It's like, but you can keep the elderly safe and still open up the fucking country. Like, it'd actually probably be a lot cheaper in the long run. Let's be honest with you. Like, you know what I mean? It definitely can. Plus, a lot. What about the old people that want to see their grandkids, that want to fucking do? You know what I mean? What about them? Do they just get? If you're saying, oh, you're over 65, therefore you're shut up, blah blah blah. We don't care if you. Do you know what I mean? It's just it's very totalitarian.
How is it keeping elderly safe by keeping your records in a restaurant for 28 days of what you ate? How is what they're doing designed to help the elderly? It's not.
Exactly, it's not. That's what I'm saying. So it's all totalitarian. It's like you're not following the guidelines. That's what it is. Like they're coming out and it's just like it's all about. And then if these school kids don't, because even my sisters were back at school and they're saying that it's all very strict, all very fucking like militarized. Like you all have to stand outside there about you're not allowed. Like if you pull your mask down a little bit under your nose and all that stuff, you're getting fucking virtually slapped and told to put it straight back up. Like,
well, both of my sisters have their kids. I think they're taking them out of school now.
Really? Yeah.
Yeah, like literally, one lad's in he's doing his leaving cert, which probably isn't that big a deal, but like taking them out, they do their homework from home or whatever, and then the two girls are, I think they're doing their junior cert this year. So, but refusing to let them go to school like under these circumstances, you know.
Mm.
So, and I'm sure there's a lot more people are like that. They've had a week of it, and the kids are coming home with headaches and fucking all sorts of shit, and they're like, right, fuck it, you're not going in under these conditions, you know what I mean? I'm sure the teachers are even complaining about it. That's why the teachers are allowed to take breath breaks. But yeah, it's fucked up, man. And then you start seeing what were I have a couple of articles here. I don't know if you want to go through them, but one of them was that the PCR testing. So basically, you have a situation with the testing where they're saying the tests are too sensitive. So even if they haven't isolated the virus and all that, they're testing for all coronavirus or whatever the fuck it is. They're too sensitive. So they're picking up like microscopic particles, which could be dead virus cells or whatever. It could be antibodies. They don't know. So it's basically like, think of the John Jones USADA pico test, the picograms. So they were picking up pulsing picograms that are so minuscule, they don't have literally any effect. They've no sports enhancing effects whatsoever. So the same thing is kind of happening with the PCR test. They're picking up such microscopic traces of the virus or a virus that's so insignificant, but yeah, bang, new case, bang, new case. You know, so whether people are asymptomatic or fucking it's just antibodies, or whether they had the thing 6 months ago, and it's just still little traces are in the body, like. So there's lots of medical professionals are kind of coming out and saying, well, look, the cases are stupid. Counting cases is nuts. You count the hospitalizations, deaths, or whatever, and the testing is too sensitive, like.
But see, the start off, the whole thing was based off deaths. That's what I'm saying. And because there's not enough now, they're just switching it to cases. And they're pumping up, oh my God, everyone be afraid. Because, exactly. But they go, oh my God, everyone should be afraid because, look, it's still around, it's still cases. Well, yeah, because you have oversensitive tests that you have to do on more and more people. Like, you know what I mean? Just like fucking, like, why are they doing it? It's not for the safety of the people. Yeah. It's already, you know what I mean? Like, that's one thing I think, again, and I don't understand why people don't understand this, all these mask wearers and all this. So the government are not doing this for your health. They're not. They're clearly not, like let's be honest with you, they clearly aren't. Why not the government ever? And remember, this is the same government that used all hate because of homelessness and fucking didn't even vote for them. And this is the same government.
And all the fucking,
The cervical, this is, so
the Catholic Church. You know what I mean?
Okay, right. So all they're like, oh, you know, you're looking after the elderly, and if you don't do this, you want to kill fucking Mavis, like. And it's like, why are they doing it? Be honest with yourself. You know, like, no, I'm not saying COVID doesn't exist. Of course it does, right? That's well established. COVID exists, much as the earth is flat. Just kidding. So COVID exists, right? So we all understand that. But what's clear, and it should be clear to anybody, is that it's completely, well and truly over-exaggerated to the absolute fucking hilt, and they are making it up as they go along. Yeah. That's quite clear to me. So why not just everyone, pub owners, people, and that, so just walk up and say, you know what, fuck off. We'll just go about our day. You can't lock us all up. You know what I mean? Like, everyone should do it.
It would disappear. It would be gone. I actually have an article here which pretty much sums up what you were saying there. It's they will put out nonsense and misleading stories to keep generating fear because they want people afraid. People, like, there's still people out there that are fucking terrified of this virus.
Yeah,
terrified to get it. They think millions and millions of people have died, like. They're only listening to the likes of RTE and all. That's the only information that they get. They live in that little RTE bubble, and every day they traipse out fucking Luke O'Neill and all these fucking guys out bleeding Neffet, and it's just case. We're on a tipping point, folks. We have to start buckling up. Your way of life is gone. There'll be no more nightlife. There'll be no more this. It's like, what? Why? Based on what, like? What evidence? What number? And the thing that frustrates me the most is there's not one fucking cunt out there with a backbone that will question these people when they start talking nonsense. They're in little sheltered conditions when they're giving their statements. They'll go on the Late Show and Tuberty will give them like alley-up fucking questions. They'll go on to Pat Kenny show or whatever, and it's dirt, like.
Because they can't. They can't. Because if Ryan Tuberty turns around and says, look, we all know this is bollocks, he'll be like, next day, Ryan Tuberty hates old people and wants them to die, like.
But like, you get someone who'll actually ask them a fucking question and say, well, hold on a minute, you're talking about case. How many people are actually in hospitals? Look at all the people that are on hospital beds at the moment. Why aren't you more concerned about getting these people off hospital beds and treatment instead of rolling out cases? Cases mean nothing. Like, all the people in these fucking meat plants that have cases. How many of them are sick? How many of them went to fucking hospital? How many of them have died in hospital? Many of them have been intubated. You know what I mean? What? Give us some fucking information. Oh, another case. Another case, me bollocks, like. Case of a load of me bollocks. Anyway, I've a little story here, though. We'll have a little look at it and see. Hold on, I'll skip off this one. It's just a story of, let me see. Not that one, this one. Right, so basically it's a doctor, right? A young doctor. So it's from the Irish Times. I never thought I would be that sick. Young doctor and getting COVID-19. So they go into, how fit and healthy this young guy is. And they keep telling the stories of, he doesn't drink. He loves being outdoors. He does all this sort of thing. never been so sick in all his life, and it's a reminder to folks that this is still a dangerous disease that you have to worry about, blah, blah, blah. And they go on and they say, despite this, it is thought he developed COVID-19 in March. He did not display any of the listed symptoms at the time, did not have a temperature or feel unwell. While he remembers his sense of smell and taste being a little off, but that was not a known symptom at the time. However, Dr. O'Flynn became ill in May and had to take time off work. While at home sick, his swabs for COVID-19 came back negative. So literally, that's the only mention to his tests in the whole article. They go on to say, luckily, he didn't have to go on a ventilator, life support. He's worried about the long-term effects of post-COVID syndrome. They lay out stuff like that. Whereas if somebody's lucky, they started to improve, recuperating over the summer. I'm still a bit shocked knowing that I could get sick so quickly, blah, blah, blah. And they talk about all this post-COVID stuff, but yet the only mention of a test in the fucking thing, and he tested negative. So this guy was sick with something else. And they put out this story to remind young people, no, you can't be fucking apprehensive about this. It's still out there. So look at this story of this guy. And last week it was the story of some guy in a hospital in the UK that was the only one on the ward who came out of intubation at the end. He was the only one that survived. And this is the Irish news. They're looking for these stories to keep people in fear. But yet you go through the story and he was negative. It's fucking madness, man. And this is the shit that's pissing me off when you're going through it all. You know what I mean? In spite of his youth and good health, the virus wreaked havoc on his body. It really floored me. So the virus, what virus? You know what I mean? What virus did he have now? Because it wasn't COVID, because you just said he tested negative. And there's nowhere else in the article that says, oh, but a week later he tested positive or something. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
So anyway.
Well, either that, what they're saying is that he didn't have it, or he did have it, and the tests aren't worth a wank.
Well,
and all the positive cases they have now could all be incorrect. Do you know what? Which is it? That's just so. But that's what I'm saying. It's nonsense. It's clearly nonsense. Like again, I'm not attacking all this politically motivated. Yeah. I'm just looking at this as a normal person. I'm going to read what they're saying.
That story itself was edited. It was edited slightly. The headline was slightly different, and people sussed it. And the fucking Times that was on RTE or something like that. And RTE had a more misleading headline, and then they changed it after people sussed it. You know what I mean? So like it's nothing but shenanigans.
There's definitely a reason. I don't know what the reason is, but lads, with your masks, it's not for your health. It isn't. Stop pretending that what you're doing is for old people. They don't give a fuck about old people. They could bolster the bleeding, the old folks' homes. They could, do you know what I mean? You can make sure old people are safe. You can invest in that by opening up everything fucking else. We can all get back to work and start putting taxpayers' money back into the coffers, and you can help the old people and the vulnerable, and you can see those people that are sick on the hospital beds as well. Yeah, you can start fucking helping them out if health is an issue for you and you're really concerned about it. But it's not. So what is it? I don't know. I'm not a conspiracy theorist, but I don't know what it is. I'm not saying I know what it is.
Conspiracy theorist, but
I'm not saying I know what it is. I don't know what it is, but I know it's not what they're saying. And I think Irish people should be a lot smarter and wise up a little. And I'm not saying get woke and wake up to all this man, because a lot of stuff I'm seeing on the COVID stuff as well. There was a share on my page to read it later. You know what I mean? Like I probably should say that.
I have to do a redaction. I said something about Putin last week, right? And fucking, I think it was one of those satire stories. I came across it. I had a quick read on it, and then when I went looking for the story again later to read it properly, I couldn't find it. So it was obviously just logged in the brain. Yeah, Putin was saying that fucking Ireland is one of the most corrupt places. It was satire. I apologise.
But again, I wouldn't be surprised if he did it because Ireland is one of the most corrupt countries.
Well, you're not wrong. That's why you could be forgiven for believing that he was telling the truth about it. You know what I mean?
I mean, if Putin didn't say it, I'll fucking say it. Ireland's one of the most corrupt countries in the world.
I just thought
size and all. It is, no, but it is, and it's so frustrating to me that like I have these people wearing masks, kind of like looking at me and I was like, man, you wish you could do this. It's jealousy.
Yeah, man, I can be nearly...
Wear a mask and they're going, yeah, don't. Me, take it off.
I'm nearly in the shops going, thank you, everyone, for keeping me safe. I appreciate it.
No, but what I'm saying is I'm not even being that cocky smart about what I'm saying. This is what these guys are thinking now. Because it's like, I haven't changed at all. My life's gone. I just feel sorry for people at this stage. Like, and again, there's also a lot of that. Well, I don't want to say I'm wrong, so therefore I'll stay on this till the very end. Until RTE tells me, oh no, we've got it wrong. Well, then maybe. But you know what? I'll keep it on for next week just to make sure, because you never know. And I was like, no, mate, we do know. We've known for a while now. You're grand. Take the fucking off. Go back to work. Like.
They're doing an anti-mask, worldwide anti-mask day on the 12th of September. So probably in the next few days or whatever it is. So everybody in the world should not wear a mask in solidarity together. And look like how that's every day is World Don't Wear a Mask Day for me. You know what I mean?
But that's the same. But that I hate all that sort of shit because it does kind of make it become a political thing. For me, it's not a political thing. I just have never worn before. I don't think I need to wear one again, so I'm not wearing one. I don't care if this government who I think are incompetent, corrupt idiots. So do you. Listen, my only issue is consistency. That's all. That's why that's the best thing. My problem is consistency. I'm just living my life how I lived it before COVID happened, as best as I can. Obviously, it affects everyone's life, but I'm not letting them. I'm not following all this stupid. If I can avoid it, I will, because it's ridiculous. It's fucking and what everyone else is doing is complaining about how ridiculous it is, and then going, "Oh my god, these fucking masks! Look, bollocks, aren't you? You're fucking stupid." Oh, I'll go to the shop here. Whereas me and you are sitting there going, "These masks are fucking stupid, aren't they?" Going, "Yeah, hold on, I'll go to the shop here." You know, back out. I'm not back out going, "Oh, fucking stupid! These masks started sweating. I had a fucking airwaves and went blind." Do you know what I mean? Like, because you don't. It's just like. I can walk out having airways and go blind in one eye. But it was sort of chew on. But when you have a mask,
do you not know
when you have a mask, it goes straight up to your eyeballs. Goose, I'd imagine.
Yeah. And now, without getting back onto the fucking whole mask thing again for another episode, but yeah, I just
no. When I bring up the mask, I'm just saying mask wearers, like them sort of people who just wish that they didn't have to wear one, and then don't realise that you don't have to wear one.
Not really, but then you see the government. I've seen it being thrown about. They're looking to implement legislation that folks will have to wear masks walking down the road now. I've seen it, and it's gonna happen.
I'm exempt. Cool.
Yeah, no, nothing. Zero changes for me. You know what I mean? But now people who let them have their, oh no, well it's only in the shop. Oh, don't be one of those ticks that won't just put a bit of cloth over your face for 2 seconds while you run into the shop. That are letting their kids have to wear the mask for fucking 6-7 hours every bleeding day while they're sitting in the classroom. Now you're going to be that tick that has to wear the mask every time you walk outside. What's the science behind it? What's to stop them from spreading? If you're keeping 2 meters from everyone, what difference does it make? Are you coughing in anyone's face? Have you sneezed in anyone's face recently? What are you doing it for? Oh, because you were told to do it. You're a bitch. That's it. Accept it. Take your mask off. Simple. These cunts, no, in saying that, I still see these fucking idiots, and they are walking down the road with their mask on. It's like they're pre-prepped for, what am I getting? I'm jumping on the bus, I may as well have my mask on while I'm waiting, like. Oh, the masks don't do fucking, you fucking, the doctors wear them all day long and don't have a problem. Fuck off, will you? You fucking tick. Does a doctor wear it when he gets out walk down on the way home and going in the shop and all? And now he probably fucking has to.
Yeah. Oh, it's just bonkers. And that's how they kind of make their memes, because they go, oh, I'm a doctor, I wear my mask, why can't you? So they can't.
Because I don't get paid to you fucking tick.
I probably could.
Yeah.
I don't have to.
I will.
Yeah, I don't have to. That's what it's not about. It's not even about can't. And even if it is about can't, if some people have this kind of get anxiety or whatever that and all, fuck you for slagging them. Little Miss one day which I lead no mental health issues or sharing this for the bros to show everybody. Yeah, they show a bit of anxiety because they don't let their mouth being fucking covered up, and all of a sudden you're going to shame them for it. So shaming is cool again. Can we shame fat people again? Can we? I can't wait for that to happen again, when we could just go ham on fat people. Like, dying to do it. Way too protective. Way too protective.
Give yourself abuse every day for it. I'm well prepped.
Yeah, do you know what I mean? Because like, and all that shit. Well, if it saves one life, remember that like mantra? Bring that back, because then we can use it against the fat shaming. Look, if those people like call this poor fat, make loads of fat jokes at her, and she gets so annoyed that it changes her life and she becomes slim to prove that was wrong, and it literally saves her life. Surely fat shaming should be cool, no?
Save a life, call a bitch fat today.
Yeah, but you know what I mean? So it's all like the water's gone fucking bonkers, and shit that like means stuff only means stuff in certain times, then it doesn't mean the same thing and when it's used against them. It's just all fucking mad.
Yeah. Now,
just everybody just needs to snap out of this bollocks, man. Do you know what I mean? Just fucking get back to it. Just get back to it. Stop living.
One more thing that might actually, it should snap people back into it, but
it won't.
It's a long old read. Now, the only thing is, it's on Russia Today. I'll try and find it somewhere else, the information, but basically, it's on Russia Today. It's a Russia Today article, which would probably be considered, it's fucking Russia Today. It's not in the New York Times or something like that. You know what I mean? But it's a long article, but it's well worth a read. I'll pop it up here for a second. Basically, the gist of it is they're saying at the start. So is it? No, it's not that. Up to 90%. No, it's down here. So the 1% blunder, how a simple but fatal math mistake by US COVID-19 experts caused the world to panic and order lockdowns, right? So basically what happened was they were saying that the COVID had a 0.1 CFR rate, or whatever the fucking terminology is for it. See if they have it down here. So in February, US COVID guru Fauci predicted the virus was akin to a severe flu and would therefore kill around 0.1% of people, right? Then fatality rate predictions were somehow mixed up to make it look like 10 times worse. So basically what happened was, when they went into like Congress or whatever to explain, look, this is how serious it is, they said COVID has a 0.1% kill rate. So out of every 100 people, a severe case of COVID will kill one person, right? Now, the fuck up that they made was that they said the flu had a 0.01% kill rate. So for every 1,000 people who got the flu severely, one person would die. So they basically made out that the flu, or that COVID was 10 times worse than the flu. And people freaked out, and Congress freaked out and like, right, we have to shut the country down, we have to stop air travel, this is going to be fucking colossal. The fuck up was that the flu has a 0.1% kill rate, exactly the same as COVID, exactly like Fauci said right at the start. So you have your man Ferguson, who done the Trinity fucking numbers at the start, and said that 2 million people would die in America and 500,000 people would die in Britain or whatever. So you're up to, say, 150,000 in America if you don't take away the CDC redaction that he did last week. 150,000 people in America or whatever. So it's just short of, say, 200,000, which if they hadn't fucked the numbers up, that's in the realm. Instead of being 2 million, it would have been 200,000. So it's in the realm of that. And the same in the UK.
Actually, less than that.
Yeah, less than that, but it's in the realm, the numbers where they were kind of estimating, look, they should have been estimating, look, you're looking at probably 200,000. So 150,000, 160,000 is close to that. And in the UK, they were saying 500,000, and it's at 40,000. So 500,000, 10% of that, 50,000. So what they've come to the conclusion now, it's worth a read on the article, but they say basically that, yeah, the fucking virus has burnt itself out at in and around the same numbers as a flu would. So a flu would normally hit, say, 50,000 people a year in the UK, and this COVID has hit 30 or 40,000, whatever it's at, in the UK, and about a 0.1%. But they fucked up by saying that, oh no, the flu was only 0.01%. So this is 10 times worse than it, when they're actually both in and around the same, you know what I mean? So it was a colossal fuck up that caused the world to go into meltdown. And so whether it was done in a sinister fashion or whether it was a fuck up on their behalf. Now,
but it's not that. It was clearly because that doesn't get that big row. Someone there noticing that fairly sharpish. Like I mean, even think about it. You put up your fucking Epstein is wrong, Epstein, and it was wrong. It was spelled incorrectly, and you got noticed. Somebody hit you up with what?
Several people hit me up.
Several people hit you up with a pretty sharpish.
A few people did it quietly. I appreciate that. A few people ousted me, and I ousted myself. So it's kind of like it's out there. Fuck it.
No, but that's right. So a few people cop that, right?
So it's a mistake. You come out and say, "Look, it was a fucking mistake." Like.
No, but how did it get to this point where only now are they finding that out? Like, where's all these scientists who are looking and going, actually, hold on a second, because they know off by heart that the flu is a 0.1 or whatever that like, and but just by looking at the numbers, going, actually, that's not correct. Like, let's change that from the very, very start. Like, how did it get this big? So again, there's nefarious goings on. That really is like.
Well, for your man Ferguson to do the exact same thing as they did in the US, they came up with similar fucking numbers and similar, and in Ireland we used the fucking Ferguson thing, Dr. Lockdown or whatever they called him. We used his model for I remember at one stage fucking Dick Face Bleeding Varadkar saying 30,000 people or 10,000 people would be dead by the end of March and all. So you look at their model, they were talking 10, 15,000 people dead in Ireland or something because of this. And the numbers without the legitimate redactions are 1,700. So it's in and around the same numbers, you know what I mean? And when you go across the board, in the article it kind of breaks across the board, and in some places the number is maybe 1.6, but that's on the spike, and on the way back down then it's 0.08 or 0.8 or whatever,
Yeah.
And it kind of every country is round about about 1% or 0.1%. You know what I mean? So it's an article that's worth a read. And the only thing is, I've only seen it in Russia today. So it could be worth trying to find somewhere else that is saying.
And to be fair, you wouldn't see it on RTE, even if it was true tomorrow.
But that tells people what a lot of legitimate fucking experts have been saying all along, that this is just. Not like some of them are saying it's a bad flu, but the numbers, it's a mild flu. Now there's talk of, well, you don't know the long-term effects and all. Right, well, we're starting to get data and shit like that. So but certainly nothing worth having to vaccinate and lock down the world based on,
complete overreaction. Everything is overreaction. Let's just get back. Let's just do it. And again, and I wouldn't even mind, I'm not this big mad party fucking. You know what I mean? The lockdown hasn't affected my personal life greatly at all. I'm just annoyed that when I do have to venture out into the world and deal with civilization, this is now the new fucking regiment, and it's just the new normal. It's not. There's nothing normal about any of it. It's fucking mental.
Well, you think about how many lads do we know that they earn their living from music, and they can't fucking go out and earn a living. And you have basically a fucking I don't know what, I can't remember, Humphreys or Dumfries or whatever her fucking name is, coming out and saying she used to be the Minister for Arts and all, and she's coming out saying, well, people who are in the arts industries may need to re-educate.
Yeah.
That's their attitude. So I know people, you know people that they make their livelihood is gigging and music, and it's fucking dead, and it's not looking like coming back. And we're the only country in Europe that hasn't opened the pubs and all, you know what I mean? You see them at raves in fucking Wuhan.
Exactly. None of it makes sense. Yeah. None of it is scientific. None of it is based off medicine. None of it is. It's just fucking stupid. And people need to stop saying it's stupid and complying. People need to start saying it's stupid and not complying. Honestly, because if everyone's thinking the same thing, the vast majority of people are thinking, they know in their hearts, when even you're having the argument with people and you bring up the meal thing and you start pointing all the holes in it, all you do is attack you. You don't argue the case because you can't. You just attack you because you know they're wrong. but you have to go along with it for some bizarre fucking reason. But you don't have to go along with it. You don't. Just don't do it. If we all stop doing it, there's nothing. You know what, the guys thing is, if we all stop doing it, there's nothing they would say. What would happen is they come out and claim that, oh my God, because everyone's doing the jokes, and then you laugh at that, and then you know what? They'll admit defeat and just open everything back up properly, and then you just go about your own. That's what's going to take. Otherwise, you're in this for the next 2 years, and nobody wants that.
Too many people are investing in it though. Too many people are happy with their lives at home. They're working from home, whatever. You know what I mean? A lot of people invest in.
A lot of companies are going to keep that. A lot of companies are going to do the exact same thing. They're going to sell out their offices, because why are they spending so much rent in offices when people can literally work from home now? Yeah. Do you know what I mean? Like, so it's going to, like, the recession is going to hit property and stuff pretty badly. All the apartments out in the city centre and all that stuff, where all the Google employees and all the big kind of. They're all gone. Like, a lot of them went back home, or they're all down. Exactly. They're all down. Like, if you think about it, though, but think about it, right? If you were say you're out there working beside Google and you're paying what $2,900 for a 2-bed, you could move down to Wexford and get a nice decent house with land for £1,700, maybe less a month, because you're working from home. It doesn't matter. Like, why would you be? You can sit in an apartment paying $2,900, or you can sit in a nice gaff, and when you're not working, then you have land and you can potter about. You know what I mean? You're out in the open and all that shit. You know what I mean? Like, that's what they're all doing.
Sounds like a good idea.
But that's what they're all doing. So property, they're just going to fall out of property there, and this.
Yeah. Well, the other thing people aren't seeing is goods and shit like that. There's going to be a huge shortage of shit. Like, you're finding a lot of stuff that's coming in from China. We're seeing it as well. It's like they're way behind on production. There's a shortage of stuff, and it's starting to kick in. People are running out of stocks and supplies of stuff, and you could see construction and all starting to take a hit purely based on supplies. Like, can't get supplies all through Europe. They're all hitting the same fucking problems. You know what I mean? A lot of the stuff is manufactured in places like China, and you have the big tankers. They take 3 weeks to get over from China, and then they get here, and usually they won't leave until they have something else to bring back. But there's there's a delay on stuff being produced from here to bring back to China, and it's just fucking ricocheting. You know what I mean? So you're gonna start seeing all this kicking in very soon. Like, not all rosy in the garden, but it could. You know, you're thinking you're gonna hit a point where it's like too late to salvage it. So, you know, you're pushing them closer and closer. You're like, lads, at some point, not even lads, right? Fuck the government. Folks, people need to understand. You're getting to that tipping point where you're going to have to take a long look at yourself and say, what is fucking real and what's really going on? Is the panic worth, you know what I mean? Is there enough evidence to show me that I need to be terrified walking around in open air, that everybody's going to affect me? Is there enough evidence that there's this outbreak of a virus pandemic where people are dropping dead like they were at the start in Wuhan, seeing people just falling flat on their face and being picked up and thrown onto the back of trucks and all? Is that a reality? Or are you being fed bullshit to keep you in fear? And if that's the case, then at some point you're going to have to say, no, I'm not having this anymore. And I said it last week. I draw my line in the sand. You're gonna have to drag me out, and if that's what it takes, that's what it takes. But I'm not going willingly. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But look, we've maybe the kind of segue still on the COVID discussion, but into something else, because we could be here all night talking about this shit. But did you see what happened to the England football team in Iceland? Little story.
Foden and Greenwood.
What you make of that?
again, like people go, oh my God, those footballers, they're young lads.
Like 18, 20
and in fairness, like, Iceland bitches are sweet. So, yeah, man, rock away. Fuck it, that's the same. Everyone they should all be doing it, or have their wives with them, or have, you know what I mean? The place should be buzzing. There should be people there watching the fucking game. I was
reading it though. Yeah, there should be, right? So what happened was the agreement for them to be in Iceland was they had to agree to be in this bubble, right? So they were in this isolated bubble that even if their family or friends came over to watch the match or whatever, they couldn't be around them. So the team was 100% to the only way for them to get by the Icelandic quarantine rules was to agree to this bubble. So then the fact that the lads were inviting girls up to the hotel or whatever breached these guidelines. So the lads, like, they're being, now, whether they are or not, but they're being investigated by the police and shit like that, you know what I mean?
They're actually sent home now, aren't they?
Yeah, they're gone home and everything, yeah. So,
Jackie Grealish.
What did you make of the Maguire thing last week? Did you see any of that?
From what I heard, a few lads tried to grope his sister or something like that, so he gave them a few slaps. I say fair play.
Is that
apparently, I think, yeah, but that's what he said happened.
Right.
But apparently, people are giving him shit because he used the "Do you know who I am" to the Coppers League.
Right, yeah.
I think that's what people.
I've seen actually Jamie Carragher saying that. He's saying, like, of all the years of being like a footballer being out for, I've never once heard a footballer use that to try. You know what I mean? Like, do you know who I am? Like, so of course they do. I knew footballers who were like, do you not know who I am? Mate, you play for Bowes, give over, like, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
You're not waiting.
I've done it. Do you not know who I am, man? No. Oh, okay.
All right.
Then I robbed them because they don't know who I am. But
on the football thing, just to let folks know, I think me and Red were going to do a Super Soccer 6.
Yeah. So this is the new thing we're going to do, right? Instead of the bets, what we're going to do is, you know, the Super 6, Sky Sports Super 6, to give you 6 teams, and you have to predict the scores of the game and the minute. The tiebreaker would be the minute of the first goal. Now, I put up on Facebook about 2 years ago, I was 1 goal away from winning the €250,000 or 500,000, I think it was that week. I was 1 goal. I was forced to win 3-1, they won 2-1. Everything else right.
Sounds like bollocks to me, but I'm in. You son of a bitch, I'm in.
Have the pictures to prove it. It's on my Facebook.
That this week with the footy.
Yeah, so we're going to do that now ourselves, just for a bit of banter.
Yeah. So to fucking jump off it completely again. You didn't watch that documentary this week, no?
Oh, what documentary?
The Irish hip hop documentary.
No, I didn't. I told you I could about half for the work on that stand about it. I wouldn't have said much if I was in the fucking thing, to be honest with you. Like.
Yeah.
No interest. I don't care. Like, I just imagine it would be shit. Like, not again. That might sound like good. Just Irish documentaries in general are a bit shit. Like, you know what I mean? So no, I didn't imagine no interest in it.
We well got born on the last one, so you know.
Exactly. So we have a reason not to watch it as well.
Like, so. About 15 minutes of it. So like the start of it was decent with the scary air stuff and all, was pretty cool. But you could see straight off the bat what the narrative was, and it was just kind of like, it just turned me off. Now, you know, fair play to everyone involved or whatever. You know, personally, I wouldn't even bothered. If I was asked, I wouldn't have bothered. I kind of felt like, look, if you're telling the origin story of Irish hip hop, to not have, like, say, DFI at all was like ridiculous. Even to talk about one of the boys battling at DFI or something just to introduce it, not even to mention you or fucking anything like that. But the other thing was kind of like, right, well, there was no Newey in it, and there was no the Wes Darcy stuff, which kind of kicked off a lot of the hip hop scene anyway. So it was criminal that none of that was mentioned.
It's not about that though. That's the thing. The documentary wasn't. I haven't seen it. I haven't even read about it. But when you do that, that's not what the origins of Irish hip hop. I mean, in fairness, who cares about the origins of Irish hip hop in general? But like, that's not what they always say. But obviously, it's not, because it's too long. You can't fit it all in. Do you know what I mean? You can't. Like, in fairness, though, don't know this again. I haven't seen it. Don't know why you did it. You can't fit it all in. But it's important that you pick important parts of it that are, like, I mean, take us for example, right?
Well, crucial to the story, you know.
No, but like, take us for example, right? And we were active, and for what Irish hip hop was at the top of Irish hip hop consecutively for 10 years, like. Consecutively, like, well, there was other rappers out there that were everyone probably thought was better than us. They drop an album and then you wouldn't hear from them in 3 years, and then they drop another one, or they drop a track here, they'd be kind of around them, and they might do a gig here. They were kind of in and about, but we was just whacking out mixtape after mixtape after mixtape, video after video after video, battle after battle after battle. We were relentless in it. So when people don't, maybe they knew we would have said no. I would have said no if I was asked to do it.
We would have said no. Yeah.
Maybe they knew that, whatever that, but to not even like acknowledge it, I'm not even surprised, because it's not being made by. Because that's not what it's about. So it's not about the origins of Irish hip hop. Clearly, it's just about let's highlight Irish hip hop, which is cool. I mean,
from what we've seen,
represented and shit like
that.
From
what we've seen, and it looked like they were even using the likes of Kelly and all, just to segue into what they really wanted to talk about, which was all the new acts. You know what I mean? So like they were taking even like Kelly, and they were just using him to go, oh yeah, Scary Era, where blah blah blah, cool story. Now on to the next one. MJX came in and was just like, oh yeah, people just thought, oh, you do that hip hop stuff, and it all seemed to be a segue for the accent into the modern. So it's the origin, but they didn't really care about the origins. You just wanted to get to the end of it. Now, like that, I didn't see it all. So I've heard people's comments on it. Some people are saying it was cool. Some people went. The only thing I will say is, for me, in my circle, I didn't see really any hype about it at all. There was very little.
No, it didn't flash up at my feed.
Very little of it filtered into my sphere of fucking. Now, I'm not as active in the hip hop scene. I'm sure maybe in other little chambers of the internet they were talking about it, or maybe the acts that were more prevalent in it, where in around their news feeds it was fairly prevalent. What I'll say is, for our last one, like, as tragic as that thing was, the amount of money we made off that, because our music was used in it, and it was played on RTE, and it was played on BBC numerous times. And man, I remember the money we were getting off that through IMRO and fucking all that, you know what I mean? We made bank off that. So for as bad as that was, we got something out of it where I was like, man, I don't care really how we were portraying it. We actually got a few quid out of it. It was played quite a lot, and it was on the BBC iPlayer and all that, you know what I mean? This time around, it's like it was played. I don't think it won't even get the other one was cringy as fuck, but maybe it got more attention because of that. This one, they seem to do a pretty good, aesthetically, a pretty good job. Like the Scary Era stuff and all was really cool. I got into it, you know what I mean? But then when I seen the agenda, I was just kind of like, oh, I'll try and go back to it, but I just really didn't have the interest now. I'm not going to lie. Like, I'm not being bitter. I don't care I wasn't involved or asked to be involved. It was just kind of like, yeah, whatever. There wasn't so much attention and hype around it that I felt like, oh shit, I gotta go and watch this. Like, even afterwards, listening to people talking about it, was just kind of like, I don't really felt like I missed much. I won't have learned anything I didn't already know, you know what I mean?
Yeah, no, yeah, because I had no interest. I think I knew like fucking 4 names on the list anyway as well, so yeah, I mean, it's good that that sort of stuff is still popping, because, again, it does bring eyes to the scene. So, and even though, again, I'm not part of the scene anymore, I got very few connections left with it. And that shines a light on it, that, because, again, Ireland has a lot of talent when it comes to hip-hop. So,
that's and it was looking back through, like, and I tell you one good thing that did come from it. Now, I don't think you're probably not interested, but for anyone on Facebook, you may not get into it, but Mexi set up a new group, and it was like Irish Hip Hop Memories or something like that, the real story of, you know what I mean? It was kind of like, well, look, and there's loads of the old heads that come in, all the like Project 77, and they're all coming in, they're dropping like old flyers and saying, remember this gig, and the stories that are going off. And like I was saying to you, I
didn't get added to that group. No, so I'm kicked out. I'm kicked out of the documentary and the group. It's because I'm Ginger,
I'll add you into it.
No, don't. Because we're all just sitting there talking about how he couldn't make a dub life. That's all.
It's private invitation only. But man, some of the stories going off there. It was like the gig in Edinburgh that we all went to, man. And
speaking of old school, Ratman got engaged today.
So it did. Congrats, Ratman.
Congrats to Ratman, the producer of Dub Life. Big up yourself, lads. If you needed to get, you needed me to show them to get high at the wedding. No, I'm not doing it. I'll do it for you, Johnny boy. Congrats, pal, to life here. And and she's a very lucky woman. That's the best I can do. I can't really do sentimental, to be honest with you. Like, I actually almost slagged them.
To my eye, like.
I almost slagged them. That's it.
Yeah.
Oh shit, this like. But, I don't know. I think we should probably wrap this up. That's over the hour. I am forged and I'm walking about 4 hours. So I don't have to do the belts. Yeah, that was episode 10.
We made it to 10. Fair play to everyone as per usual for tuning in, for sharing it, all that shit. We've a few things coming up in the woodwork.
Actually, sorry, Belgium. Give me 2 seconds. There was something I wasn't meant to do. Hold on, 2 seconds.
Are you doing shout out or something like that?
No, not a shout out per se.
Want to shout out to Anto and all the boys down the flat.
Starting to the boys out the lock there, representing for the boys in the green. Right now, do you know Tony Born Baby Born? Funny bastard on Facebook. Always puts up funny statuses. Right, so he's banned from Facebook at the minute. He's on a 30-day stretch up on Rikers. But he's doing a fantasy football. He's doing a fantasy football. Yeah, so an open invitation. Now, I posted on this and I'll jump in. I am going to jump in. I'm not making my team yet because a few transfers and I'm going to wait until Thursday, Friday. But so I told him I'm going to call the code out on the podcast if anyone wants to jump in. So
you might get about 3 people listening in. So
yeah, but I'm like if you do, if the 3 people listening and you want to join in, I'll be doing it. You're doing it.
No, I'm not. I've never done fancy football. I don't have the time.
Oh man, do it. It's frustratingly wonderful.
Yeah. No.
Right, so the code to join, Tony's thing is HEBLYM. That's H for Harry, E for Eric, B for blowjob, L for low job, Y for yo job, and M for mammy.
For your mammy. Well, I tell you what, if you send me over that code, I'll pop it in the description when this pops up.
Yeah, we do that, yeah.
And I'll get the link in again for anyone who's looking for a bit of merch now. We're going to be adding on to it. And we're going to be doing up a few more of these. If you get one of these now, it will correctly state Epstein and not Epstein. But anybody wants a t-shirt, we have a couple of them there. We'll fucking give them away if you want to wear for the gaff, for the laugh and the joke.
I'm getting one. I'm getting an extra large for the gaff.
For the gaff.
That's probably how I fucking say it. Anyway, we ignore it.
Yeah, so anyway, fair play to everyone for tuning in. We made the 10 episodes. Hopefully we'll be going live shortly. We're working on that. We'll have a few more guests lined up and we'll be doing our Super 6 this week. And probably a few more little bits and bobs, and I'll just keep the content flowing. So, nice one, everyone, for checking us out. See you again pretty soon.
Peace.
Peace.